$9 a day, that's how much your employees on average are taking from your firm. Fraud and embezzlement on a daily basis is rampant, and there's got to be a way to anticipate it, prevent it, and deal with it appropriately. That's why I'm here visiting with Bill Kenedy. He's with Lutz & Company here in Omaha, Nebraska, one of the larger firms across the state of Nebraska. And Bill, you're an expert in detecting and helping business owners deal with fraud. Thanks for joining me here on WowBiz. Typically, when you uncover an issue with fraud and embezzlement inside of a company, how big is the problem at that point? I mean, what's a number? Well, let's generalize.
Well, the stats say it's $160,000 per occurrence.
$160,000.
Yes,
yeah,
big number.
That's a big number. And where is it taking place? Talk to me about the nature and the source and the origin of this stuff. I would have no idea.
Actually, the majority of these, believe it or not, occur in businesses with 100 or less employees.
Oh, okay. So it's not necessarily the big, giant corporations, huh?
Right.
And what's going on? Is it in the back room? Is it out in the field? I mean, where do you look for the source of this?
Typically, it's the accounting department. Somebody in the accounting department. In a small business, a lot of times the office manager is the accounting department. It's one person. It's that person. But it can also be salespeople or other executives in the business.
Yeah.
But generally, we're seeing it in the accounting department itself.
Okay. And business owners are so busy that they're probably running around not really just taking a close look at and monitoring the outflow and the inflow and the expense reports. Is that what's going on?
Oh, absolutely. Usually the business owner in a small business is out there selling. They have a person they rely on to take care of all that for them, and they don't want to be involved in it. They just want somebody to take care of it for them, but that's usually the worst situation.
Yeah, you've got to find somebody. It's hard to trust somebody. Now, when you finally stumble across a situation, it looks like, oh my gosh, we've got this problem. What should a business owner do? We've got to think carefully about this because there are a lot of implications insofar as how you react. Give us a little bit of a strategy. How do you respond?
Well, first off, you got to react quickly and try to quantify what's happened to you. You probably should be bringing in your experts to help, your CPA, maybe even an attorney.
Okay.
But you need to be prepared to fire this person, even if you believe that they're key to your business, or even if you want to sweep it under the rug and not have it be a big issue. You need to be able to fire them so the rest of your employees know that this type of behavior is not acceptable, and send a message.
Wow. So even if it's a CFO or a department head or somebody like that, I mean, you realize that has implications if you get somebody who's at the executive level and you let them go. But you still got to make that move or send the right message, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, what could be worse for an employee if they know that the CFO has stolen money and then he doesn't get fired? What do you think is going to happen next? If he doesn't get fired, I'm not going to get fired.
Right, it's going to exacerbate the problem.
Right,
absolutely. Well, when an expert comes in and watches the books, maybe somebody like yourself or an attorney and so on, what are they looking for? What's the inside scoop insofar as detecting what's going on? Where do they go first?
Well, really, where I'm going to go first is the corporate credit card statements. If I'm going to look for a fraud, that's typically where I see it. Every case I've been involved in the last couple of years, there's been some degree of fraud with corporate credit cards. It can happen in other areas, but it's definitely the first step.
All right, let's take a look at that. Is it a sales rep that's working in collusion with a bookkeeper, and he or she is out there charging things, and the bookkeeper's not catching it or looking for receipts or whatever on the expense report? Is that what it is?
That can be part of it. That's that whole climate of lack of accountability. The controller's not checking anything. Everybody's got these credit cards and they're going willy-nilly with it. Most of the time, though, it is the accounting department. It's somebody in there that has a credit card making the charges. They're the ones that put it into the accounting software and pay the bill, and nobody is overseeing what's going on with the card that they use.
I see. Okay. Now, I realize that accountability, you mentioned that in terms of the culture and so on. Tell me a little bit about that. I mean, do you create this heavy fear environment? How do you let people know that you're watching without being intimidating or creating a sense of over control? How do you do that?
Well, the owner needs to get involved a little bit in the process. That's one way. Bringing in your CPA firm to do procedures every year or so.
Okay.
Just a little bit of, hey, somebody's looking over my shoulder to know that, you know, I probably shouldn't mess with this if I want to keep my job.
Okay, good. Well, Bill Kenedy with Lutz & Company here in the Nebraska area. This has been fascinating. I feel like I'm looking at something I've never really looked at before. I didn't realize the depth and the texture of this problem with embezzlement. Obviously, you're an expert and a specialist. Is there anything else you can tell us about your role and when you get involved and what you do?
Well, typically what I like to do is obviously get involved beforehand, the prevention role, where we go in and look at who's doing what in your accounting department and try to figure out a way to segregate duties, maybe get the owner involved a little bit in the process to get that climate of accountability going. That's preferred method. We obviously get involved in the post-fraud.
The intervention.
Yeah, the intervention afterwards, trying to quantify the dollar amount and figure out a strategy for how to deal with it going forward.
Because then you really need help. Then you need some options and some choices. You want to make sure you do the right thing at that point as well. I'm talking to Bill Kenedy with Lutz & Company here in the Omaha, Nebraska area. Embezzlement is an issue that can be solved. It can be anticipated. It can be prevented. All a business owner has to do is work with a specialist, do the right things in advance. You'll minimize this huge and a highly preventable problem. I'm Lynn Hinderrocker. Thanks for watching us on WowBiz.